everyone. Just gonna give some folks some time to join. Welcome. So excited people are hopping on. Excited to see you all. I know we have had a full week, several weeks, so I definitely appreciate everyone taking time to hop on tonight. My name is Samantha McCoy. I am a public relations consultant, and I equip entrepreneurs with tools, tips, and strategies to help them increase their visibility. And I'm so excited tonight because this is the beginning of a series that I'm going to be doing for every Tuesday for the rest of this month with chatting with musicians, and specifically Black musicians and artists. And if you don't know, June is actually Black Music Month, and so I wanted to dedicate my platform to celebrate some of the musicians and creatives that I know, and just give you all an opportunity to hear and learn about their work and what they're doing right now and how you can support them. And I was a little hesitant at first about if I should move forward with this, given everything that we have going on right now. We are definitely in the trenches of the Black Lives Matter movement. We are in the trenches still of COVID-19, pivoting businesses. We celebrated the life of George Floyd today. There's just so much going on. It's definitely a heavy time and a heavy season. But in the midst of that, I wanted to move forward with this series because I believe that one form of activism is celebrating us and celebrating those who dedicate their time and their talents every single day to tell our stories. So tonight I am so excited to kick off our series talking to Montria Walker, and she is a songwriter, a singer, an actress. She just graduated last year from Kent State University and has already had the opportunity to travel and sing all over the world. And I wanted to speak with her tonight because I know that her career has probably gotten off to a very different start than she thought it was going to. So just wanted to give everyone an opportunity to meet her, learn about her, hear what she's doing right now. And without further ado, I will invite Montria to come on. I see her here. So Montria, I think if you request to jump on, I should be able to see you and invite you on. And thanks everyone for joining. Montria shortly.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
Good. Welcome to the live. So glad you're able to join. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome. Great, great, great. Well, you look beautiful as always.
Thank you. So do you. So do you.
Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, I gave a little introduction, but just wanted to invite you on tonight to be able to share a little bit about, your career, your artistic journey so far, and because I'm sure that, like I said, that it's probably gotten off to a much different start than you thought when you graduated. So can you just catch us up a little bit? What has life been like for you right now?
Life has been interesting, to say the least, but I've been trying to stay motivated. I've been doing Instagram lives, just singing, doing little sets here and there, or posting a singing video. Theaters are still actually trying to take auditions, so they're still trying to possibly open up theaters by the end of this year. I don't know if that's necessarily going to happen, but I've still been doing submissions pretty consistently, so that's pretty good. And I'm hoping and praying that, like, at least by the beginning of next year, live theaters will be open again. And then I've also just started up, I just put out a video. I'm coaching now, so I'll be coaching for hour sessions, and I'll just be coaching on a song or monologue in musical theater, or if you just want to work on your you know, your own music, songwriting, you know, work on artistry development. I'm coaching in that area now. So
Wow,
that's
that's
how
awesome.
yeah.
Yes, so you now can add coach to your repertoire as well. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So we're gonna rewind a little bit and just let everyone who may not know you, how did you get started even, being interested in pursuing a career as an artist? Because I know, you and I, we both grew up together in the same church, and I know there's so many different ways that people can get started in a career in music, and sometimes people choose to study formally and going to universities and different things like that, and other people just kind of get out there and start. So what was your journey like? How did you decide to go to Kent State and kind of take that path?
Right. So I would say I completely started off when I was a little girl. My principal in elementary school found out that I could sing. I was singing in a room by myself, and he told my parents, "You need to listen to this girl sing." And so they heard me, and I was very shy. I used to be very timid, very shy, would not speak, would not get on a stage, definitely didn't want to be in front of a mic. But then I started singing, and then I started doing it professionally, and then I started to create an album, and I graduated high school, and I was trying to figure out what my next step was going to be, because I had the decision to either tour an album that I created or go off to school and get my 4-year degree. And so I decided to do my 4-year degree, and I went to Kent State. Kent State's musical theater program is incredible. I was looking for a musical theater program. It was between 3 different schools that I was looking into, but only one of them had a musical theater program. So I felt like my heart just kind of led me towards Kent State, because it's really hard to get into musical theater programs. I mean,
Yeah.
it's very hard. The audition process, everything is very crucial, very blunt. And I mean, the acceptance rate is very small. So yeah.
Oh, yeah. So what made you attracted to musical theater specifically? Because I mean, in my opinion, that seems like the hardest one or the most
It
challenging one,
is.
because you have to sing, you have to dance, you have to act. I mean, it's kind of
Mhm.
everything working together. So what attracted you to that? Like going from, you said you were really shy at first. So how do you go from, being shy to doing all 3 at the same time? What was that
Right.
like?
I think the switching point was when I was singing with, I don't know if you guys know Kishna Fowler, but she's a world-renowned opera singer, and I had to sing with her on stage. We had to sing Summertime. That was my childhood song, and I got so nervous, and I ran off the stage, and she said
Wow.
on the mic, "Okay, we're going to have Montria come back on the stage, and she's going to finish singing Summertime." And that day is the day that I got over my fears. And then towards middle school is when I started exploring musical theater. And then I grew a passion for that. And ever since that moment, that's when I decided to continue to pursue musical theater as well with my artistry. And once I got to college, I started going into dancing hardcore. I still want to consider myself the strongest dancer. I would consider myself a mover, because there's still a lot of growing to do. I wish I had started dancing when I was younger. But musical theater is definitely not for the weary. It is very, it's hard. It's very hard.
Yeah.
And you just have to stay motivated, stay focused. And once I started, I guess musical theater became a passion of mine because I enjoyed being able to tell a story. And that was just so beautiful to me, because not only was I able to tell a story through music, but I was able to tell a story through dancing and through acting, and being able to, progress a story in that way is just so beautiful. And in live theater too, because who knows what's going to happen in live theater. You can make a mistake. You got to keep it going. So.
Right. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. So when you were actually studying and training and, really entering this season of, being an artist and an actress full time, was there anything that surprised you about the training process, or, anything about any routines or habits that you had to develop that were maybe surprising or that you didn't expect?
I would say, that's a good question. I don't think that there was anything that necessarily surprised me. I think that the workload was a little surprising, because it's all about, you. Like, you have to put in the work. If you want to be the best, like, you have to put in the work like you want to be the best. So it's really about self-motivation, because there's no one behind you to say, hey, did you do this? Hey, did you practice this? Hey, did you go through this yesterday and today? You know, you have to do all of that for yourself. So it's about pushing yourself. That workload, though, is probably the most surprising, because musical theater, a lot of people think that it's just all fun and games and, oh, you're doing your acting, you're singing, you're dancing, but there's a lot of hard work that goes into a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Like, I would come out of dance classes hardly being able to walk. I mean,
Wow.
it's really a lot of dedication that goes towards being in musical theater, and the work doesn't stop after you graduate. You know, you have to continue to, like, work on your craft, continue to be better, you know, think of ways to better yourself. Anything that you can add to your resume. It's just an ongoing process of bettering yourself.
Definitely, definitely. Awesome. So for those of you who just joined, we are talking to the gorgeous Montria Walker. She is a singer, songwriter, actress, musical theater extraordinaire. She is now also a coach. So we are just talking with her about her artistic career. Feel free to type questions in the chat. We will be on till about 8:30 tonight. So not super long, but just wanted to give you all a chance to meet her and learn about how you can support her work. So if you have any questions, definitely feel free to put that in the chat. So Montria, for anyone who might be watching who, you know, might be interested in a career in musical theater, what, just from that studying standpoint, what did your days actually really look like? Because like you said, you know, people kind of think it's all fun and games, you're singing, you're dancing, but you're getting up to working on your body, and then there's also the piece of studying different people who have gone before you and kind of learning the grades and learning the craft. So what did that look like?
Oh, you're starting to break up a little bit. Sorry. Say that one more time.
Yeah, so I was just saying, if you could talk about kind of the balance between, as you were in school, working on yourself and working on your performance, but also learning the craft and learning, you know, the different writers and actors and, you know, different people who have been in the industry who have gone before you. So how do you balance that, you know, performance and then also the studying part as well?
Right. I will say, when I was in college, I hardly got any sleep. I maybe got 3 to 4 hours a day. And that is crazy to me looking back at it, but that was the kind of drive that I had, you know, and I was going to an out-of-state school, so there was no plan B. I wanted to make sure that I made my time worth it, and I was giving it all I had. But my typical day was getting up for Starbucks, working in the morning from 4:30 in the morning till about 10 a.m., and then going straight to my classes, and then going straight to rehearsal, and then doing a show or going straight into a show, you know. So my days never ended. And then after the show, doing homework, getting your 3 hours of sleep, doing it all over again, you know. So it's definitely a lot of dedication. And also, when it comes to studying the people before me and studying the industry today, there was a lot of work that I would say a lot of the students of color would have to do on their own, because a lot of the work that we had learned was not about us. Like, sometimes in a class, there would be 2 slides from the whole semester that were about Black history and Black theater. So we really had to self-educate, and there was a lot of people before me, thankfully, when I was coming in as a freshman, that really poured into me. There were seniors that, you know, really, I don't know, helped me become the person I am today when it comes to performing. Like, they helped me with, like, how you walk into a room and introduce yourself, you know, all those different things. And so I think that having that mentorship and having that drive to just do my own self-study has helped me figure out the industry today and figure out the history and all the different things that I need to know for, you know, a performer that looks like me. So
right. Wow. Well, I definitely hope that one of the outcomes of, you know, this Black Lives Matter movement that is really resurging right now is that I really hope that, you know, institutions and universities take that to heart and really look at their curriculums and, you know, how they can diversify that as well. So I really hope that's something that, you know, we start seeing in the theater community as well.
And I'll say we have this association at our school called Black Theater Association, and they just had a meeting. I'm super duper proud of the president now. He's a mentee under me. He just had a session where he talked to the faculty, the students of color there. We had like a full Zoom call, and they are making adjustments and making changes to the curriculum now.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah, they are making changes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is so encouraging. So encouraging. Yeah. Well, I'm so glad that we brought you on, even to share that, because sometimes, we're thinking, is this even working? We're doing this again.
Right.
Are these protests doing anything? So just to know that people are paying attention, and organizations and institutions are now paying attention that were not before. So I definitely hope that momentum continues. So, okay, so now you graduated from Kent State, you're excited, you're ready to move forward. So how did you get your first job after school? So did you start cruising immediately, or how did that work?
So actually, the whole audition process, I'll say, was in New York. It was through A1s, which is, I guess, how would I explain A1s? It's like going to a convention, but you have to be allowed to go on to the next level to actually be in the presence of the convention. And so the conference brings all these different people together, whether it be representatives from theaters or from cruise lines or from agencies. They all come into one room. You have like a minute, 25 seconds to present your package, which may be a song and a monologue, very quick, in and out. And then depending on that, then they'll give you callbacks. So then through that in New York, that's when I got my callback for Royal Caribbean. And I started rehearsals in Florida. So they have grounds where they do rehearsals, a whole studio. It's huge, it's beautiful. And we have multiple different cruise ships doing rehearsals, doing their shows all at the same time. And then once we get our shows finalized in that area, then we ship off. Then we go fly out to wherever our ship is, and then we start doing the production.
Wow, that's amazing. That's awesome. So it seems like that must have been a really exciting time. I had a chance to pop in on a couple of lives that you did, kind of showing, different tour stops and different things. So what was that life like? What was it like to see different parts of the world like that?
Cruise ship life is so different. It has its ups and downs. But the pros were definitely traveling and seeing all of those places. I got to see the Great Wall of China. I got to go to Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam, Russia, just being able to explore all those different places, even if it was for a short amount of time. It was amazing. And those experiences you can't take for granted, So, yeah, being able to do that was incredible.
Yeah, that must have been super, super exciting. So how did this whole, you were cruising, like, what'd you say, right before the pandemic hit? So how did you find out about that, and, what happened?
So while I was on the ship and the pandemic started to happen, I was in disbelief because the ship life is so different, and you're so like disconnected from the world. You don't know what's going on. Like, unless you really look at the news every day, you have no idea. You're out at sea, you're out in the middle of the ocean, like you have no idea. And so when the pandemic started to happen, I started to believe it. It really sunk in when less and less people were coming on board. Like, I would go because I was a muster station leader, so I would have to do drills at the beginning of each cruise and tell people, what to do, different things like that in case of an emergency. I would go from handling 1,500 people to like 125. And that's what happened in a matter of like one cruise. And so when that sunk in, that's when I started to get scared. And I was like, okay, I need to go home. And thankfully, our ship, they were allowing us to go home, but my contract, when the new cast came in, they were still on board. And so when I was able to go home, we were the last ones able to get off the boat, and the others were 150 days at sea, the people that had to stay on board, and they were not able to port anywhere. They had to take a small tender boat to get back home. I mean, it was crazy. I think there's still some people at sea right now, currently, and no one's allowing them to port anywhere. So I got home just in a matter of time.
Wow. Oh my goodness. That was definitely some divine intervention for you. Because I mean,
Yes,
I can't imagine if if you weren't able to have that escape. But
yes.
wow, that's a lot. That is
Yeah, it was
definitely,
all
and I
God. He got me
can,
home right in time.
yeah. Wow. Oh my goodness. Well, I hope those people are still not still stranded. I can't
Me
imagine what that.
too. I really hope that everyone's sent home by now, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's still some people out there.
Wow, wow. So when all that happened and and it started kind of sinking in that you would be having to really pivot your career at this point. What was kind of going through your mind and how did you feel?
I was devastated because I didn't know what was going to happen next. For me, I planned on moving to New York right away as soon as I got home. But, God had other plans, and that's okay. And when I got home, I just had to evaluate myself and think about the things that I had been putting on the back burner that I needed to handle. And so I started going through that list and just figuring out what I could do for the time being to keep myself motivated and to keep myself passionate about what I'm doing because I know that this is just temporary. And so then I started going through the list, mental health. I started working on that because that's so important. And I think that a lot of people, when they get busy, they put that on the back burner. And that's real. For a lot of performers, that's the last thing we deal with most of the time. So mental health, I started dealing with that. And that was, I mean, therapy has been amazing. And that journey has been wonderful. Meditation and just thinking about, okay, how can I give back to the community? And then I came up with the coaching idea, just different things like that. And, just little online jobs, things to just keep money flowing in for the time being. And then when it's time to move back to the city, then we'll make that move.
Got it. Awesome, awesome. So tell us about this coaching, this virtual coaching. What does that
Yes.
mean and how do people know that they need you?
Okay. So honestly, everyone is very talented. Everyone has gifts, but you can never stop getting advice or never stop getting coaching, or there's always room for improvement. And so I thought in this time, I'm sure there's people that still want to work on their craft, and still want to, just get better at certain things. And so I said, okay, my strengths are music and acting. So why don't I coach people in that? I have a 4-year degree. Why not use it? So yeah, I really want to be able to coach people, and not just in musical theater, but if they're an artist and they're just trying to work on their artistry, their artist development, or their songwriting, all those different things are strong strengths of mine. So I want to be able to give back in that way and help people. So I just put up a video today. And the first 2 people that DM me will get a free 1-hour coaching session. And then the rest from then on, we'll just work out pricing from there, and that'll vary because the pandemic, and I can work with that. But yeah, I'm super excited to start working with people, and I've always had a passion for coaching. So now I'm just bringing it to this platform.
Awesome, awesome. So is that mostly vocal coaching, acting? Like what types of coaching can you provide virtually?
Yeah, so I can provide vocal coaching. So if you want to work on a musical theater song and you want to work on the singing and the acting aspect of it, we can work on that. And if you want to work on just voice, we can work on that. And then if you want to work on a monologue, I have been trained up in Stanislavski method, so we can work through that lens, and I can help guide people through that.
Awesome. That's
Yeah.
great. That is excellent. Well, yeah, so I just wanted everyone to know Montria is available for virtual coaching, vocal coaching, whatever it is that you need to watch. And you have always wanted to sing and you want to know, well, wait a minute, before I do that, do you coach beginners or are you kind of looking for professional? Because I don't want to put you out there with the wrong client. So
I am coaching beginners,
okay.
professionals, all of the above. All of the above are
Awesome.
welcome.
Great. Yes. So if you always wanted to learn how to sing and you have some extra time right now in this quarantine, Montria is the one. She said she can help you take your voice to the next level. Oh my God. We have
Yes.
Dwayne on here. This is my music director at my church. He is on here right now. He said he would love to act. He said he would love to act like he could sing. Maybe you can give him some. You need to sign up, Dwayne. You should be one of the first ones so she can give you a
Yes.
free session.
Get a free
Then you
1
can
hour session.
add to our worship team. No, this is awesome. Awesome. Well, I am so glad that to have you on. We only have a few minutes left. So I definitely, if anybody has questions, you can feel free to add them in the chat. But I did want to ask you, Montria, about songwriting, because I know that you write songs as well, and I know there's a lot that kind of goes into that process. So for songwriters that might kind of feel, you know, maybe stuck right now or not really sure where to get inspiration from, you know, what can you encourage them in this time?
I would encourage them to pull from their life experiences, do a lot of reflection, go for a walk outside. Like, a lot of ideas can come to you at the most random moments. So if you feel like you're getting stuck, go do something fun. You know, go bake, go paint, go do something that can get you out of that writer's block, you know, and do something creative, do something fun, and the ideas will come. I promise.
That's great. That's awesome. So who are some of your inspirations, whether they're music or, you know, other creatives? Where do you kind of draw your inspiration from?
Yes. Okay. So currently, one of my favorite artists is her. I don't know. Do you know her? Yes, her.
Yeah,
She
super
is incredible. Her writing is just ridiculous. She is way ahead of her time, and the way that she plays instruments and just engages with the audience is just incredible. So I love her.
yeah,
I draw a lot from that person. And then other artists, Jill Scott. I love Jill Scott. Alicia Keys, that was my girl growing up. I would sing her songs all the time. You know, lots of Christian artists too. I love the Walls group. Who else? There's so many people. Man,
yeah.
Corey
Wow.
Bailey, Whitney.
Yeah, no, there's such a variety of different artists to choose from. So I'm sure, you know, there's just a wealth of inspiration. Oh, somebody
Oh,
commented, oh, hey, Keisha.
thank
Keisha's on.
you.
She said that's great advice even for me who doesn't write songs. That's so encouraging. And
Thank
I think that's awesome to know that, you know, yeah, you can apply creative advice really for whatever industry that you're in, because, you know, I think so many of us are in positions where, you know, we have to, or we want to, you know, offer our talents to the world and offer our gifts to the world. And sometimes we kind of get stuck and we're just like, oh, I don't really know how to say it or what to say.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, yeah. So definitely, you know, just kind of having that courage. And another thing, Montreal, when we're talking about courage and confidence, you know, I know in the beginning you were saying that you used to be really shy and you ran off the stage at one point. You know,
Yeah.
what was something that really helped you to build that confidence, and how do you keep that?
Yeah, I think that honestly, so with theater, I feel like I'm stepping into someone else's shoes, so I'm not myself for that time, and that's how I get out of my own way, and that's how I allow myself to really take up space. And then even in my artistry, I feel like I've created not necessarily an alter ego, but just a more confident version of me than the everyday me. And so I step out of that into that full confident self. It's like crossing a line, crossing a threshold. And once I cross over that line, it's no taking steps back. And I
Wow.
think that that's what helps me walk into anything with confidence. And,
Yeah.
you know, I struggled with that even with auditions. Like, for a while, I would get nervous, but it's like, they need people for this job. You know, they need you. So just show them what you got. Give your best. And hopefully that's what they're looking for. You know, it's like nothing is personal in this industry. You know, it can be down to like the nittiest thing, the smallest thing. But yeah, it's just crossing that threshold, walking into the confidence, leaving everyday self to the back for a second, you know?
Yeah, yeah. No, that's awesome. I think that's great advice too, that really anyone can apply, because you have to be the person you want to see, you know, and I think sometimes
Yes.
we put that gap between, oh, well, these people over here do this, and, you know, I'm over here, there's this disconnect. But I really think, you know, in order to walk into that excellence that you have and really tap into that excellence that you have to see yourself and say, I am one of these people, you know, like you can't really have
Exactly.
that situation. So whatever it is that takes you to own that and embrace that, I think that's really the key.
Yep. Totally agree.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Montria, for
Yes,
joining
thank you.
I'm going to save this video so that people who might not have caught the whole thing or might not have had the chance to jump on with us will be able to see it. And I definitely hope that this was helpful to you and gave you another platform to share what you're doing. And I'm so glad that you posted your coaching video today. So that was perfect timing.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
No problem. No problem. All right. Well, thanks so much. Have a great rest of the night.
You too.
All right. Bye.